time for your weekly dose of pop culture
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Oh, this is the part of the show where there would be all this crazy,
Yay!
noise and celebration. But we don't have that part of the show with us tonight.
We don't have that part of the show with us today.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Welcome to Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. I'm Kathy along with
Kenny.
Okay. And basically we hang out here every Saturday night on YouTube. I'm still in the process of moving, so things are all over the place. So I am broadcasting live from the bedroom. I have not had a chance to convert my studio or would-be studio. So I just got a light kind of flashing in the background, and I don't even have my Rodecaster Pro or microphone or anything hooked up. I am just kind of winging it.
Yeah, well, we both are because I'm a little off today too. I had to run some errands. I had to go support a friend of mine having a festival, and I had to go there and check that out. And then another friend of mine was featured. I think it was her first feature at a brewery, and I had to go by there and support her. Then I told her I was going to have to leave early anyway, but we had rehearsed a song together. Her singing to one of my spoken word songs. And one of my spoken word pieces, we rehearsed it a long time ago. And of course, I'm sitting in the audience just enjoying it. And she goes, "Hey, Kenny, you want to come up and do that piece we did?" I was like, "I can't remember it."
Oh, no.
But I got up and faked it anyway for 2 verses. And then I, made up stuff as I went along. And I got the gist of it out. And I sat down and this lady sitting at my table goes, I said, "Yeah, I really totaled those words. I really screwed those words up." And she goes, "Yeah, we would never have known."
See, there you go.
And that's what you got to do when you're performing. Nobody knows you messed up but you.
Exactly.
Keep that energy. Keep that energy, man. So, but here I am now. And tonight, how was your week?
My week has been crazy. I still haven't completely moved. Even though I'm in my new home, I'm still helping our parents get out of their old home. And plus I still got junk over there that I am transporting here. So my garage is just packed, and it'll probably be some time before I can actually go through and sort through and figure out what belongs in here, where everything goes. I'm pretty much, I couldn't even find my Kathy and Kenny t-shirts. And I know we got some t-shirts that are coming.
I didn't have my shirts on, and I got my shirts available. And I saw Kirsten last night, and I meant to give her shirt, and I had to go somewhere before I went out. So, because I also have a sign, I'm in a issue of Soup Can Magazine. If you look at it online, Soup Can Magazine. Soup Can Magazine, the April edition. I have a piece in their book. And she wanted the book and with me autographing it. And I have that too, and I forgot to give it to her.
Okay. And I don't know how long this is going to last, because right now I'm doing the stream just standing up because I just got my computer on this nightstand so I can get through the stream. So at one point I might have to take a seat. So just know that might happen.
Okay. Well, let's get going then. Let's get going on what we have going on tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about celebrities who were replaced due to death. So this is all things, and I have a couple of categories in this too. Celebrities that died, and they were supposed to do roles, and they didn't get a chance to do it because, of course, they died, and they had to be replaced by other actors in that same role or a similar role. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go first. So the celebrities you didn't know were in movies, but they died before the movie came out. They filmed some of it, and they died before the movie came out. Chris Farley was supposed to be the voice for Shrek.
Oh, he was? I didn't know that.
Originally, he was the voice for Shrek. It was based off one of the movies he did with what's his name, the little blonde guy. It was based off the movies they did, Tommy Boy. It was based off of Tommy Boy. The whole
David Spade.
Yeah, David Spade. The whole Shrek and Duck relationship. Chris Farley apparently, unfortunately, he not filmed, but he did most of the vocals for that.
For Shrek?
For Shrek, but then he passed away.
Oh,
So
wow.
they Myers to come in, and it took him another couple of years to do it again because Mike Myers changed the whole script.
Ah, okay.
He wanted to change it to his, because it was Chris Farley, so I'm pretty sure it's probably slapstick comedy at work, and they changed that. So that was one person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a Shrek movie. Another person is Aaliyah.
Okay, what movie was she supposed to be in? Well, wasn't she in like Romeo and
Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die?
She completed that, and she was in the Matrix. She even filmed some scenes for the Matrix, Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Resurrection. She filmed some scenes
but she was not in the original Matrix.
She was not in the original, but in the second one, they go to Zion, and the new pilot, because the old one died, the new pilot is the old one's brother or something like that. But anyway, the new pilot's wife was played by Nona Gay, Marvin Gaye's daughter.
Okay.
But originally
it was supposed to be Aaliyah.
She filmed scenes and everything.
Oh,
but
wow.
She couldn't finish it, so they had to take her out.
That I did not know.
Yeah. So, hey, I was doing my homework, man.
You really researched this topic. I know another actress that you didn't have on your list, but I know she wasn't replaced, but she did die during filming. And that was Natalie Wood on Brainstorm.
Oh, that's right. Yes, she did. She did. And there's a lot of people who died during film. I just said the people who got replaced.
Oh, who got replaced? They didn't replace her, but I think they had to use like doubles or something.
A body double.
To kind of finish the filming.
And it's interesting you say that, because the next category is a couple of actors where they passed away, and they were replaced. They weren't replaced, but they used body doubles and CGI.
So, and I think they did a little bit of that with Natalie Wood for any of the scenes that were unfinished from Brainstorm.
And they did that with Oliver Reed in the movie Gladiator. Oliver Reed, the movie Gladiator. He passed away. Now, I'm gonna tell you about.
I thought that was Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe was in Gladiator, but Oliver Reed was one of the actors in the movie.
Oh, wow.
So what had happened was he had promised the director. We had promised the director and the producer.
You say that like you were there.
Yeah, now I wasn't there, but I read the story, and the story is quite fascinating. Oliver Reed had he was a heavy drinker. Wow. And I think it affected some of his work. So during the filming of Gladiator, he had promised the director and the producer that he would not drink during the week. The weekend was open game, but the week they were filming, he would not drink. Apparently, what happened, he passed away because while they were filming, he went to a bar and drank a lot. Wow. Then he decided to arm wrestle a bunch of Navy guys or service guys. So he's in the bar drinking, arm wrestling all these young, strong, like servicemen and everything else. And that night he had a heart attack. I guess he was drinking and the arm wrestling and everything, and taking all these guys on and being the party guy. That night he had a heart attack and died.
Wow. So
then what they did was, because the movie was just about all filmed, they used his stand-in. He had of course, every actor has a stand-in. So he used a stand-in and they used CGI.
So like the stand-in usually is just there so that, when they're adjusting lights and all that boring stuff that has to be done to make movies look great, the stand-in can come and stand there so that the actor can be off in their dressing room, presumably going over lines and working on the character, but really they're just drinking, partying, and snorting coke.
Well, okay, let's not say that.
That's the world I'm living in. I'm making this stuff up as I go
So
along.
also now that was also used with Paul Walker for the Fast and Furious franchise. Paul Walker had filmed most of Fast and Furious 7, and they had to film the rest of it because, as we all know, he tragically died in a car accident, and he was going in the middle of filming that. Now, the CGI wasn't that great, but what they used is for stand-ins for him. They used his brothers. He had two brothers, Caleb and Cody, and the two brothers for different scenes stood in for him because apparently Paul Walker and his brothers all kind of look alike, or all kind of had the same build.
Oh, okay.
So they use CGI.
That must have been hard to ask. Like, you're already mourning the death of your brother.
Yeah, I think,
and what was really a tragic kind of accident.
And I think what had happened was, I think the brothers like volunteered to do it without being asked.
Wow.
I that's one story I heard. Like they said, look, we got to finish this movie. That's my brother's movie. We got to finish it. And I think Fast and Furious 10, the one that's coming out, I think they're doing the same thing. I think Paul Walker's character has to appear, and I think they're doing the same thing. CGI and the brothers.
CGI and
So
well, now with like AI technology and what they already can do with CGI and what they've been able to do with AI with Bard and
let's
Chat
not
they probably could come up with his voice and reproduce it.
Yeah, let's not mix
whatever the
AI.
script says.
Because AI is one of the reasons behind the writer's strike right now.
Oh, really?
Yes. AI is the main component of the writer's strike because the writers are with the writer's strike right now, they are they don't want to happen is you take like what they're thinking is that the computer will take different plots from successful movies to make another movie. Okay, this works here. This works here. What kind of movie you come out with?
I kind of think people are being a little too narrow-minded. Because again, if you're forward thinking, AI isn't going to replace human beings, but maybe it's a way to take out some of the, the labor and the work that folks don't want to do and make it a little easier to get some jobs done, freeing up your mind and your time to work on other things like
but if you use AI
world
to make
peace
a story,
and social justice,
if you use AI to make a story, you don't need that takes away the writers' jobs. I get where they're coming from.
I disagree.
I'm all for technology and moving ahead, but I do get where they're coming from.
Okay, I hear you.
And really with AI, all you're going to get is rehashed plots. All you're going to get is rehashed plots. So, so I'm
but what if you use AI to help you come up with an original plot idea?
The AI is going to take old plots and previous plots that were award-winning movies. So they're going to take old plots and throw them together and see what they come up with. It doesn't sound original to me.
All right.
So we're going to move on.
Move on.
So
who else was replaced with CGI?
No one else was replaced with CGI, I don't think, on my list.
I think you had Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes. Philip Seymour Hoffman from the Hunger Games.
That's right. Because he died in, and I think they were on like the last one.
Yeah, he passed away during the filming of the Hunger Games. And not only was CGI used for him, but they had to do some reshoots. And Woody Harrelson, who's going to show up later on this list, Woody Harrelson and Julianne Moore.
How can Woody Harrelson be on the list? He's still alive.
No. In the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away. They used CGI to get him in there and finish the movie. But some of his lines, they couldn't do CGI. So Julianne Moore and Woody Harrelson were in the movie. So what they did was they gave some of Philip Seymour Hoffman's lines to those actors to move the story along, because
I
I guess
get it.
CGI couldn't do all that. They couldn't do that much with the CGI.
Gotcha.
So they used their voice. They incorporated some of the lines that he was supposed to
Let me
do.
go and learn something about CGI. I'll be
So okay, she's going. Yeah, but Ed, as mentioning Bruce Lee, The Game of Death, we are talking about people who died and were replaced. I guess he was replaced by another actor in Game of Death. So I didn't have Game of Death in there.
What
But-
about his son? Didn't his son die in the middle of making a movie?
Yeah, but they didn't. I think I don't know if they replaced Brandon Lee or did they finish filming it. But the you know what? Game of Death, yes. The beginning of Game of Death was not Bruce. I think the very beginning was Bruce Lee, and then the middle, after his character died, quote unquote, it was another actor. And then when he turned around and went up the steps, everybody cheered in the movie theater because then it was Bruce Lee that went through all the fights and fought Kareem and everything else. So yeah, Game of Death is another one that I did not put on the list. And thank you very much.
Hey, pop culture confession.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Bruce Lee movie.
What? You have never seen a Bruce Lee movie?
There is a gap in my pop culture knowledge.
Oh,
I'm just
my
not a big
goodness
kung fu
gracious.
fighting
Oh my God.
fan.
You've never seen a Bruce
I've
Lee
never
movie.
seen a Bruce Lee movie.
You've never seen, really?
Seriously. Oh, look who's in
Steve.
the house.
Hey, Ed.
Steve.
And Ed was on the earlier comment.
And of
But,
course, Ed is always here, and Ed is
you
always
have-
on
okay.
point.
Okay, guys, Ed, Steve, you're in there. Anybody else out there? If Kathy had to watch one Bruce Lee movie, what would you suggest you watch? Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon, the one. Enter the Dragon is the one with Jim. Oh man, why is this his name missing me? Ed, tell me who was in Enter the Dragon, because his name is Jim.
Okay, now whose pop culture credentials are getting revoked?
You know, I know who they are. I'm looking at him because he's like, you know, there was a "What if you lose?" He goes, "I'll be looking too pretty," and he was like, you know, but yeah, but that Enter the Dragon is probably a good one. You know who was in Enter the Dragon as one of the henchmen? Jackie Chan.
Oh, get out of here!
But you don't really, you don't
What
really
year
know
was
him.
that?
He's in there. John Saxon, not John Saxon. Who was the guy with the afro, the black guy with the afro, and Enter the Dragon?
Kelly.
Jim Kelly. There you go. Jim Kelly.
Okay.
Jim Kelly. That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. So John Saxon, Jim Kelly, and Bruce Lee, all who are deceased right now. So, but Enter the Dragon.
This show is taking a morbid turn. If it was already a morbid topic, but
well, I'm thinking about the other movie where he was protecting a hotel. What was that one? That was
Steve says, I watch so many of them and keep track of the names other than Enter the Dragon. So that one he was not up on. Jim Kelly was the actor you were talking about because he's an athlete turned actor. So
yeah, he is an athlete turned actor, and he passed away not too long ago, a couple of years ago. And John Saxon also passed away a couple of years ago, not too long after Jim Kelly, or not too long before Jim Kelly, about the same time they did. But I think the guy he bust, I didn't keep track of the movie titles. Yeah, there's one where he's protecting a restaurant, and that's dubbed. But I like that one because he's sent to protect this restaurant, and people doubt him. And then when the bad guys come in, he tells them, "Hey, let's fight outside." And they go outside, and Bruce Lee just whips everybody's tail in Bruce Lee fashion. And all the guys who doubted him are looking at him like, "Oh my God, like you really are good." Like, you know. So, you know, that was
did
good.
You see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I refuse to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Because I don't want to see, because everybody who actually knew him said that he wasn't like that. He wasn't that arrogant. So I don't want to see.
I didn't see the whole movie, but I did see the scene.
I didn't want to see Quentin Tarantino's version of Bruce Lee.
His take on Bruce Lee. But again, if you think about the whole movie itself, was real life facts mixed with made up
fiction.
Fancy, fantasy facts. So who knows? That whole thing about Bruce Lee could have been a fantasy fact. So Ed Brown says
we can talk.
You can also see him on the old Batman TV series.
Yes, because he was Kato, Green Hornet and Kato. So you can also see him in Green Hornet series. And I watched a few episodes of those. And in China, they called it Kato. So because he was, so he was a big star. He didn't realize it in China. Let's move on to our list, though.
Okay.
Heath Ledger. The imagination of Dr.
The Joker.
No, the Joker, but he was in the imagination of Dr.
The imagination of Dr.
Imaginatarium. The Imaginatarium of Dr. I can't pronounce the name of the movie, but he was in it and he died before it was finished. So Johnny Depp, Jude Law, and Colin Farrell took his place in the movie, took his character. So I never seen the movie, but they took his place in the movie, and I guess the character changed appearances or whatever.
Okay.
And that was one. Richard Harris was in the first two Harry Potter movies, and he passed away. And Michael Gambon took over the role that Richard Harris has. I've never seen. No, I've seen the first Harry Potter movie, and I don't even remember that.
I have to confess, I have a Harry Potter gap too.
Okay, good. We need to watch some Harry Potter movies and do a Harry Potter show.
I know. We need to do like the definitive Harry Potter, because I would just need somebody to give me a primer, because I tried to read the first book because I know George was into those books at one point when he was young. I was trying to read them to see, I wanted to just relate to my little nephew, but I just couldn't get into it. And that's weird, because I know with my middle schoolers, I know when the Twilight series came up, for some reason, and maybe it's because it was more of maybe it was a chick thing. But I did follow that series, and it was a couple other series that my middle schoolers got into that I got into. But the Harry Potter series,
I'm not trying to read the book. I'm trying to see the movie.
I never really picked up on.
I'm not trying to read the books. I'm trying to see the movies.
Well, when I retire, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just sit around and catch up on all the. Oh wow! I'm so honored. Ho ho ho! I wish I had India's sound effects. We got Todd from Christmas Clatter. Hanging out with us
thanks for joining us, Todd. Thanks for joining us. Prisoner of Azkaban was great. Okay, if you say so.
Now, is that the movie or the book? Because, and I'm wondering if I watch the Harry Potter movies, will it ruin the books?
I'm gonna watch the movies. I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna read the books unless they put it in a comic book fashion. I'm not even gonna say I'm not even gonna.
So if there's a Harry Potter graphic novel, you're all about that life.
I'm all about that. The movie. He says the movie.
The movie.
Yeah, if I get a Harry Potter graphic novel that kind of tells the story of all the movies, like each graphic novel, I'll read those.
You'll be down with that.
I'll read the Harry Potter graphic novel. I'm not messing around with the books.
On this edition of Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, we are talking all about Till Death Do Us Part. We want to thank you guys for kind of hanging out with us. In the comments, just let us know any actors you know about that died in the middle of filming and how they were either replaced. We talked about some that were replaced with CGI, some with other actors, some with different people doing the roles. But again, we thank you guys for hanging out, and know that there's a link in the description. You can always support the show for free with a like or a thumbs up, or even subscribing to the YouTube channel, which we do have a new channel, Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture is our YouTube channel, and you can find us there and find us here every Saturday night at 8:30 as we hang out and talk all things pop culture.
It's interesting. I go down to Todd Christmas Clatter, because that's an interesting comment. He says, after watching Harry Potter, watch the video that compares Harry Potter to Star Wars. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to get into. But I smell.
Now, see, that's a rabbit hole I probably could go down, but
I've heard that before, but I don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. But
you know what I need to do, Kenny, because I think I shared on Instagram a picture of on May the 4th, I shared a picture of the one collectible Burger King collectible glass from Lucasfilms of Luke Skywalker from The Empire Strikes Back. And looking at eBay, you saw that glass.
Yeah.
We priced it anywhere from like, I don't know, $20 to $35. And it made me really want to go back and watch the Star Wars saga in order. But I think like Star Wars, the original one, is considered like the 4th movie now.
It's the original. It's the original. It's the
original. A New Hope.
Yeah, New Hope is the original Star Wars movie.
So we need to go back and I need to revisit my Star Wars lexicon. So because I haven't followed all the new series like the Mandalorian or Bad Batch and, and all those things. Huh?
Okay. I follow the Mandalorian. It's a good show.
You do follow the Mandalorian?
Yes, I've been watching the Mandalorian. It's over now, and we're waiting for the next season. But it's a really good show. Now, next on our list is Jim Varney. Remember him?
Oh, what was his name? Ed?
Ernest.
Ernest. I'm sorry, Ed. I didn't mean to offend you. It was Ernest. That's right. Ernest goes to, the
Ernest
whole
goes to this,
that,
and the other.
Yes, definitely.
So the Ernest guy, he was a voice of, I believe, the Slinky Dog on Toy Story 1 and 2. But he passed away. He passed away and couldn't do 3. And Blake Clark replaced him. And Blake Clark, if you remember from Boy Meets World, he was Sean's dad in Boy Meets World.
I wasn't the biggest Boy Meets World fan.
I like Boy Meets World.
I know.
You know what I mean, Vern? Yes, Todd. You know what I mean, Vern?
You know what I mean.
He'd be like, Vern! I like that. I like when he did that. Okay.
But it's like sometimes the weirdest things that get your like attention and keep
Yes.
You're the oddest.
It doesn't take much.
Brother,
I'm like, the weirdest things get my attention because I'm talking about one thing and next thing you know, squirrel. Okay. So
squirrel.
But still. But we're gonna move right on.
Either one of us.
I'm gonna go old school on you. Joseph Kearns from Dennis the Menace, who played Mr. Wilson. He passed away after the 2nd season. So Gail Gordon came on as Mr. Wilson's brother. So they didn't make him Mr. They made him Mr. Wilson, but they made Gail Gordon Mr. Wilson's brother because the original.
I remember that.
And all they said was in the show was they didn't say he died. They said he went away and he went somewhere and yada yada yada. Alice Pierce.
Now, hey, how come you don't have like the Dicks?
Because they didn't die.
Dick Sargent and Dick York.
They didn't die.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So
I just always thought that was weird. That they
Dick Sargent and Dick York. Bewitched. Alice Pierce, who played Gladys Kravitz, the nosy neighbor. She passed away. She was replaced by Sandra Gold as the Mrs. Kravitz thing. And then they said that she went away. And then Mary Grace Canfield came as Harriet, her sister-in-law, to tend the house. Because back in those days, you needed a woman to tend the house while the man did what the man does. And another famous
man
one
did what the man does.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Another famous one is Freddie Prinze. Freddie Prinze was unos, dos, tres, cuatro. Chico the Man. Everybody knows Chico the Man. Freddie Prinze tragically committed suicide during a run of the show. And he was replaced not as the character Chico. They said that Chico went to go visit his father, went to go visit family, away on a business trip. They said everything but, and then he had a 12-year-old boy replace Chico named Raul, played by Gabriel Melger. Hey, Scooby Life. And
Oh, life in the house.
and then later on, because after Freddie Prinze had passed away, the show was just going downhill. And what they did, they focused on the other characters, Della Reese. Who was the other? Who was the man that played the man? Grandpop from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Can't remember his name. The guy that laid in bed in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Found out he had a golden ticket, and then was well enough to get out of bed to go to a chocolate store.
You have some problems with that.
You laid in bed with 3 other people, one of them your wife, kind of kinky, for 30 years, and then you find out you got a golden ticket to a chocolate factory. Now you can walk.
Jack Albertson. You know what? Okay. And I forgot, like you mentioned, I forgot Della Reese was on Chico and the Man, but remember Scatman Crothers?
Yeah, Scatman Crothers was on that too. Scatman Crothers, Della Reese, and Jack Albertson. And Todd, I'm going to get to that one that you said right there. Nicholas Casanio. I hope I'm saying his name right. He was coach on Cheers. He died during filming of Cheers, and the next season they brought in Woody Harrelson as Woody to replace him. He was just as dim-witted as Coach, so they didn't really replace him with another Coach actor. They replaced him with someone just as dim-witted as Coach was. To keep the story moving.
It was almost like taking the same sensibilities of that character, which meant also for the writers, and I know you were worried about the writers and AI earlier in this episode, but for the writers, that made their job easier too, because they could still play off that character tight. So I'm sure if they had scripts that were already written, with Woody coming in with the same kind of like naivete, and it was almost like like Coach would say stuff and it would be kind of innocent, and yet I don't know. It just got big laughs. Yeah. It's weird because it was something about that show that the chemistry, and I don't think it was just being on that Thursday night lineup that NBC had that was so killer in the 90s. But I think something that made Cheers work was the chemistry, and it was these characters, these big over.
Norm.
Oh gosh, Norm. But also, even when Diane left, everybody thought, okay, the show's going to go downhill. And, it did a little bump, but it came right back, I think. And I think that was the strength of those characters. Although, again, my theory, whenever you have a show that's built on the sexual tension of the leads, the minute they put them together, we have jumped the shark. So,
yes. Now, in Cheers, to connect the characters, Woody was Coach's pen pal. So when he showed up, he's like, I'm looking for Coach.
Oh, he wasn't they weren't related?
They weren't related. They were pen pals.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, and Woody came looking for his pen pal. Now, the next one we have is an interesting one. Night Court. Selma Diamond played the bailiff on night, and I forget what her name was on Night Court, but she played this older lady that was a bailiff, and she passed away, and she was replaced by Florence Hollop, who played Florence with a different last name, and she was an older lady also to kind of give the same tone that Selma did, and kind of get that old lady thing in there, and she was replaced by her. Then she passes away.
Oh, wow.
So then the network said, you know what? We need to stop betting on these old women. They're dropping like flies. Let's get someone younger.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe this was the catch too, because each of them played characters with their real names.
Right.
So Selma Diamond played the bailiff, Selma Hacker, and Florence Hollop played the bailiff, Florence Kilner. So maybe the magic to lasting in this role was not being named the same as
Yeah,
your character.
well, that could have been it too. And so Marshall Warfield came on as Roz. Now, interesting enough, the reboot of Night Court, I've been watching that.
Oh, how is that? I haven't watched it yet.
Decent. It's decent. The premise is the young lady, the young judge, is actually Harry Stone's daughter, and she needs help.
I don't know. Does it make you feel old? Because like, and again, Night Court was one of those late '80s, early '90s TV shows that I just love the characters, love the chemistry. But then when you look at when you look at the list of folks in that movie, in that television show, I mean, Harry Anderson is gone, Richard Mall, Marky Post. It's
Richard
like,
Mall is still alive.
oh, he is still alive? I thought he died.
Richard Mall is still alive.
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm premature.
But Harry Anderson, Marky Post, and the two ladies that we just mentioned,
the two ladies,
and the other gentleman.
But John Larroquette is still alive because he's been
he's in the reboot. He plays Dan Fielding.
Now, is that on NBC or is it on a streaming service? Because I get so confused.
I think it's on NBC. I watch it on Peacock myself, but I believe it is on NBC. And on the season finale,
so wait a minute, Kenny. Like, I know you have Paramount because you shared that with me, but you have Peacock too?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, now you might as well just invest and get whatever the local cable thing is.
No, it's still paying cheaper.
Okay.
Still cheaper. Right. I'm getting rid of Stars, though. I am getting rid of Stars because that's the most expensive one I pay for, and it has nothing on it. But I am getting rid of Stars. But
I know I have it through I don't really Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm really not paying that much. Really, I'm not.
I the one I'm enjoying is Apple TV, only because, and I don't know if I think if I made you a part of my family plan, if you get an Apple account, I can make you a part of my family plan.
I think I have an Apple account because the girls all have Apple phones.
And so you don't have an Apple account?
I think I do. I think I do.
Okay.
I think I
all
do.
Right.
We'll talk
so maybe I'll bring you in on that one because I love Ted Lasso, and and I came late to the party, but it is a good show. So.
I've never seen that. There's a couple other things I want to watch.
It's not in tonight's theme, so I won't go
There's
squirrel.
a couple other things on Apple TV that I want to watch. All right, so we have a few minutes left, and the last one I want to get to is Gail Foster. Now, Gail Foster.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Gail Foster was in The Matrix, and she played Oracle in The Matrix.
Oh, she was the Oracle, yeah.
Yes, but she passed away.
Oh.
So
it wasn't Mary Alice?
No. That's who replaced her. Mary Alice replaced Gail Foster in The Matrix as the Oracle.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of made it because she was a construct of the Oracle. She could take any form she wants, and so it was more believable.
Oh, that's kind of a cheesy kind of.
Well,
that's a little cheesy.
Well, it worked.
Is it? Yeah, no, you said Gail. It's Gloria.
Gail Foster.
Gloria Foster.
It's Gloria? How did I get Gail?
Sure? I don't know how you got Gail. Because you know what? At first, when I saw Gail, you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about that guy who used to be in Barney Miller. Wasn't his name Gail? You know what I'm talking about? Do you remember Barney Miller?
Yes, I do. Walter Howitz.
Oh yeah, Walter Howitz. Gosh, that is good.
Yeah,
but it's Gloria Foster.
I have him. He's one of my celebrities I follow either on Facebook or Instagram, and he's always posting old pictures of Barney Miller.
Oh, that's awesome. With
fish. No, his last name is Gale. Isn't it Max Gale?
Max Gale. Okay,
his last name is Gale. Max Gale, and he's always posted like old pictures of Barney Miller, old clips.
Ron Glass.
Ron Glass is gone.
Abe Vigoda.
Abe Vigoda's gone.
Ron Carey is gone. I
Jaxo.
think Steve Landesberg died too. We are
Yeah,
in a
I
real,
think he did too.
we're in a
Jaxo
really
also.
dark place.
So Barney Miller is alive. How Holden?
Yeah. So why don't they make shows like that anymore? I mean,
I don't
Barney
know.
Miller was a classic. And
Yes.
again, I think it's all in those characters. And those writers who are so worried about AI taking their jobs need to relax and just
I don't
write
think so.
some good,
I'm with the
strong
writers on this one.
characters.
I'm with the writers. There's a lot of actors also, because they need more money too to write these things. And there's a lot of
Well, I'm all
actors.
about giving them more money, but
There's a lot of actors on the picket line with the writers, because
I
some of
hear
the
you.
actors were also writers, and that's how they started out. Like Quinta Bronson, she was a writer, and she wrote her own thing, and that's how she got. So she's on the picket line with them.
All right. Hey, I hear you.
So
Oh,
give, give them what they want, so we can enjoy our lives again and get our escape going. A lot of movies have stopped filming because of the writer's strike.
the writer's strike.
Movies, TV shows, nighttime shows, everything stopped.
So if we actually start writing TV scripts, does that make us scabs?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Not
I don't want to
doing
be a scab.
Nobody is
But
scared.
you know what? And again, with all this packing and moving and going through old papers and stuff, I had a file cabinet, and guess what I found?
What?
Some actual spec scripts that I wrote. And again, it's called, when you write scripts on speculation, these scripts are like 12 years old. I mean,
Wow.
I'm sorry, over 20 years old, probably about 25 years old. And I actually wrote about, I don't know, 4 or 5 different speculation scripts. One was a script for the TV series Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Another was for a show called Just Shoot Me. And then another one was a show called, I think it was actually called Till Death Do Us Part. It was about a set of couples, like 3 or 4 couples. And I also wrote a Will and Grace speculation script. They were, I thought they were great. I thought they were brilliant, but evidently they weren't enough to get me into a Disney internship or a writing agent. So there you go.
And, these things happen for a reason.
Maybe I should take the idea, the premise of those scripts and feed it into AI, and maybe it'll give me a better
There you go.
script.
See, that's what the problem
Now,
is.
see, had I been thinking,
That's what the problem is.
if they have a reboot of like Buffy or Just Shoot Me or one of these shows, hey, I could be in there. I could be writing.
I don't think we need more reboots. I think we need originality.
But I kind of miss some of those old shows. I wouldn't mind a Barney Miller reboot if it had the same quality writing that we had and
It won't. It
strong
won't have the
characters
same
that we
quality
had
writing.
when
It won't
Barney
have the
Miller
same
was
quality
out.
writing. You can't, okay, there's a lot of things that shows like Barney Miller, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times, Maud. There's a lot of things that those shows did and said that were classic and hilarious that you couldn't get away with today because everybody would be offended.
And that's why we need them back, because this whole
You couldn't get away with it. You couldn't.
everybody getting butt hurt over the most stupid things.
Do you think either the Jeffersons or All in the Family today? No. Do you think you do the Barney Miller episode with a homosexual guy's couple comes in and Wojciechowicz is like scared of them and everything? He doesn't want to be around them. You think you do that? You can't do that
you know
now.
what? When we don't talk about these things and act like they don't exist, then we don't bring these things to light. So why not talk about them?
Well, you can't
deal with them. And what better way than humor to deal with those feelings that we have about
I agree,
being around people of different sexualities or people of different races. If we can't laugh at it and learn from it and grow from it, then
but you have
why
so
the
many
heck are
people
we
that
here?
will be offended no matter what we do. No matter what you say or do, you have a lot of people who are going to be offended. The shows of yesterday you couldn't get away with today.
Well, they need to grow a pair of ovaries.
No, wait, we can't tell them that. You can't tell them that.
I can't.
That's offensive.
I'm telling you.
That's offensive. You can't tell them that.
Oh, that's offensive?
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm offending people with ovaries or without ovaries. But you know what? You need to grow a pair and just put on your big girl panties and stop being so butthurt over every little thing. Oh my goodness. This culturally sensitivity thing that we're going through is ridiculous, but okay.
And Ed agrees with you because in the comments he says those people that get offended need to put their big boy girl panties on.
Amen. Yes, 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 yes. Put
I got
on your
I
big
got on
girl boy
Spider-Man. I got on
panties
Spider-Man
and get
panties.
over
You know,
yourselves. Because you know what? I don't, and again, I know there probably were things that were said or done that probably shouldn't have been said or done. But also, if we don't, and maybe that's because me coming from my comedy background, the three comics I admired most were Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, and George Carlin. And to me, if they didn't say and do things that offended people, I don't think comedy would be where it is today if they didn't push those limits or push those boundaries. And even though I didn't have the most revolutionary comedy show in the world and didn't break through all those borders and boundaries, I don't know. I think comedy just isn't funny unless we are pushing those limits. I'm just saying.
Well, as a sidebar, I'm gonna let everybody know you probably didn't see Kathy's comedy yet, but she was hilarious. She was hilarious.
Anyway, Todd Christmas Cloud says, I just listened to a documentary on In Living Color. They barely got away with what they did in the 90s. Wow.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they pushed some buttons
Yeah,
and
you
pushed
you
some
couldn't, you
boundaries.
can't, you can't. I mean, there's so much stuff that's done on Sanford and Son and what's happening
You big
and
dummy. Although
yeah,
that was the funniest part.
you know what the funny part, and there's so many different things that was said and jokes that were done on Chico and the Man, even, that you couldn't get away with now because you would offend somebody, and somebody's going to be offended.
That's
Somebody,
crazy.
like, could you think you can get away with soap now?
Oh my gosh, I
You
love
can't get away with soap
soap.
now.
Although I need to preface it. I love the first season of Soap. I think after about season 2 or 3, maybe the first 2 seasons were good. By the third season, the novelty kind of wore off
Yeah,
and it went
but you
downhill.
couldn't get
But
away with that today
Soap was my
because
show. Oh my goodness.
Billy Crystal played a homosexual character. You
Mm.
couldn't probably get away with the way he played that character now today. Back then, and all the jokes that was said because he was a homosexual character, you couldn't get away with that now.
Oh, the best line was when you first saw Robert Urich, who played Bert's son Peter, and all these people knew Peter from different ways and different relationships. And when he first comes in, everybody's like, Peter, 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 and Billy Crystal's like, Peter, and it's over the top, it's flamboyant, but yeah, I guess so. And then you play a character like that this day and age, you'd have people protesting because Billy Crystal isn't gay. So why is he playing a gay character? Hello, it's called acting. I'm sorry. Neil Patrick Harris is classic in the Harold and Kumar movies. And
Yes,
it's not because he's playing Neil Patrick Harris. Well, oh, wait a minute. He is playing Neil Patrick.
Yeah, but he's playing
anyway,
Neil Patrick as a womanizer. And
exactly.
And Steve said another one, Three's Company. Because John Ritter was acting like he was gay in order to live with the girls.
Okay, you know what? Scooby Life is asking, was Soap where they pretended to be women so that they could rent an apartment? That was actually Bosom Buddies.
That was Bosom Buddies.
And now we know how young you are. Bless your heart.
You cannot get away with Bosom Buddies now.
Huh? But yeah, Bosom Buddies would not probably fly now either.
No, you cannot get away with that now.
Soap was actually a comedy, again, as so many in the 80s were, filmed in front of a live studio audience. And why do they have to remind you of that? I don't know why. But it actually was making fun of daytime soap operas and kind of taking the whole premise of daytime soap operas. This one sleeping with that one, and this drama and that drama, and all this kind of, along with a whole little murder mystery subplot, and putting it in like a serial form where every week they were ask you a couple questions, will Jessica find out that her husband is having an affair? Will Corinne find out that Jessica and Robert are not her parents? And like every week they would leave you with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Will Benson answer the door? And actually, that show actually generated quite a few spinoffs, because Benson was actually a spinoff from Soap.
And Todd Christmas Clatter, MPH, and How I Met Your Mother, which he played a total womanizer. Imagine how, though, this guy who is known for being a homosexual nobody complains about him playing a womanizer, but if you get somebody else playing a homosexual, then you'll get complaints.
I don't know.
Yeah, twist it around.
MPH is legendary. But you know what? I got another pop culture confession, because guess what other show I've never seen?
What?
Doogie Howser. I know it exists out there in the ether, but I think it was on at a time in the late 80s when I was doing stand-up comedy. So there really wasn't time for appointment TV. So I'm missing a good chunk of pop culture from that time. That 13 years or so I hung out at comedy clubs on, weeknights, Saturday nights, and that sort of thing.
But next week, we're going to have a topic tomorrow to talk about, and we're going to post it on our site and on our YouTube, and we're going to let you know what we're talking about next week. But for now, hope you enjoyed our show. We're going to have to try to get out of here. Okay.
We got to get out of here. So, but we'll be back next Saturday, and we apologize. We missed last Saturday, but life happens, and
life happens
in the midst of this move. So next Saturday would definitely be broadcasting. Kenny will come up with the topic. I am working on the new studio, so until that studio gets set up, it's probably going to be broadcast live from my bedroom.
I broadcast from my bedroom.
Okay, see, there you go. So we're going to be live from the bedroom.
Live from the bedroom.
It just sounds very disturbing. But we thank you guys for being here and hanging out. And also, I didn't see Audrey in the comments, but if she's out there, I did get your information for your T-shirt. So again, there are links in the description if you want to send me a message. I'm kwalkomedy on YouTube, on Instagram, and send me a message with your size and your address, because I know where the box of T-shirts are, and I will be happy to share them with our friends and fans who are tuning in.
Did you give me your shirt?
And I sent a bunch of shirts home with Kenny when he was down here last to hit our South Jersey contingent, so that we can get you your T-shirts.
Audrey and Steve, get in touch with me. Steve, get in touch with me, and Audrey, and Steve, Audrey can get in touch with me too. I think I have 3 shirts.
I gave you a shirt for Audrey, but Audrey did send me her shirt size. So, and I do have her address, so I'm going to try to get that.
And well, if she wants, she's in Jersey. Also, I have Kirsten's shirt and I have Steve's shirt.
All right. So we got shirts for everybody, and we will see you guys. All we ask is that you take a picture in your shirt so we can see what real life pop culture kids look like. So just make sure you grab a picture. Steve, I should flash that up every time. I mean, oh God, I said Steve.
Ed.
I should flash up every time Steve says Ed. Anyway.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been a blast. We will see you next week. Peace.
God bless you. Keep living. Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.